and on Twitch. And let's talk some FPL. I did not think the game was going to launch so soon today, so I was not ready. I had to cook up a 1-minute thumbnail, fix a little quick overlay, but I think everything looks good. Let me know the sound is good. Let me put on some background music. Since we are chilling, it's time. I need to tweet out that we're live. There's a lot of things I haven't prepped, so forgive me that it is a bit scuffed, but I think it's going pretty well. Let's see here. Let's do that and slap on the audio. There you go. Quick little audio check. Share this. Let's see. Everything looks good. YouTube. Everything looks good on Twitch. I think so. Your new favorite FPL YouTuber. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nixie, hello on the Twitch side. I'm going to tweet out again that we're live, or for the first time. I haven't tweeted it out yet. I'm like 30 minutes late, but considering I just got off work, it's pretty good. I haven't looked at any prices. This is just a team that auto-picked, just so I can get a good FPL ID. You need to have a good FPL ID, otherwise you're not a real FPL manager. Live now. Looking through the game for the first time and picking my first drafts. That's not how you spell that. Picking my first draft. Live on both YouTube and Twitch, and then we'll do a little it'll link to the YouTube here, and a link to the Twitch. There. Live now with the launch of FPL 2025. 2026. Perfect. Quick copy. Post that everywhere. I'm sorry that this is so scuffed. Got a league code? I'm literally gonna set up a league code right now, so I don't have it just yet. But I will have it in a second. I promise you. But I've not set it up just yet. I'm gonna slap it in the description as soon as I do. Those of you who are early, how is music sound? How is mic sound? Is it good? I've not had time to check. I haven't even had time to twirl the mustache. I'm doing full just Dr. Eggman. It's just sticking out everywhere. Rocking the... It's way too hot to wear anything other than a thin Hawaii shirt right now. Sweden is scorching right now. I'll up the music a little bit just for my own pleasure. But yes, we are going to, of course, start a league code. On the Twitch side, I can see your comments as well. You're just not up on screen, actually. Nixie says, what's considered a good FPL ID? 2167 is mine. I think that's really... I mean, anything... With how competitive the game is, probably below 100k is a good one, but if you're 4 digits, you are flexing. I did not get a 4-digit one. I got 2106, I think. 20,106, I think, is my code. Good morning, Joshua. Good afternoon. It's been a busy morning. Has been a busy morning. So, let's set up a league code and let's start looking through the game, shall we? Let's, actually... can I pop out? There we go. We can just slap Twitch chat up here, yeah? On the side. There you go. Something like that. Yeah, that's good enough. Alright, Twitch is on the screen now as well. And we'll even do a little cheeky pen to ensure it stays there. 6,300 is my ID, so smooth. Nice, good job. What in the parallel universe? Yeah, we're doing, I mean, it's the FPL launch, man. It's the biggest day of the year. $6,300 is a really good idea. I like the ones where it's super easy to remember. Like 6,300 exactly is insane. Nick said got 5 digits last season, now 4 improvement season by season 3 digits next time. Let's Talk FPL got 44. That's insane. I saw it like 5 minutes after it dropped and I got 20,000. But last year I missed it by like 2 days because I was off the grid. So I had like a 1 point, you know, it was in the 7 digits. So I guess a 5-digit one is an improvement. Let's set up a league so I can slap that in the description. And then we'll actually start looking through the prices. I've not seen anything. I avoided tinkering on the bus. I literally just auto-selected a team and then didn't look at any prices whatsoever. So I have no idea. I have no idea what's good or not. We're gonna figure that out together. But yes, this is a bit of a parallel universe. Yeah. Okay, create a league. Create a league. Brain Fantasy. Create. Perfect. Now how do I... Yeah, there we go. There you go, that's the league code right there on screen, right? So let me put that in the YouTube description. Stream settings, yeah. Three. I actually can't tell if it's an L or an I. That's kind of annoying. 3I2 FCA, I think it is. I can't actually. Oh, maybe it's an L. Maybe it's a small L. There you go. Okay, now if you update the stream, you should see it in the description as well as a link. You've not even seen Haaland and Sol. I've seen the ones that the prices that they dropped before the game launched. But I've not seen anything else. So I know Florian Wirtz is what 8.5. I know Pickford is unpickable at 5.5, and then Haaland and Salah. Salah's 14.5 and Haaland is 14. Yeah. All right. transfers. Here we go. So I've not figured out a good setup for the stream yet, because obviously, you know, this just happened. I've never played fantasy football, follow you for F1, I want to get involved. None of my team's selling it up there. Yes, the playoff final was awesome. I was there. That's insane. I would love to be there. I really want to go to a playoff final sometime. Like, those games always bang. There's never a boring playoff final. Congratulations with Sunderland being back up. I think they deserve to be there. And I hope that there's some good picks. Actually, I love having a Sunderland supporter in the chat, because if you know any like hidden gem from the you know, promotion teams, I would love to know. I would love to know. Any way to check rank history? Yes, somehow. Let me see if I can remember. It's been a while since I was on this. So you can check. Is it under transfer history, actually? I can't remember where it is. It's somewhere here, right? Maybe it doesn't work until something's happened this year. I'm gonna check on this screen so I don't reveal everything. No. Oh, anyway, we'll look at that in a second. We have a team, or we have a league, and that's the most important thing. But oh, they removed rank history for some. I feel like that's a thing that it's not there until the first game week is up. So I don't think they've actually removed it. I think it just doesn't show up because you haven't made transfers. It's some weird spaghetti code. I feel like that happened last year as well. Yeah, maybe until Game Week 1 is finished. If you want to know, my best ever finish in FPL is 4,090, I believe. And that was in the 22-23 season. I finished 23-24 in like 23k. And then last year, I was running in the top 10k, and then I had an atrocious end to the season. My last 5 game weeks, I just completely dropped the ball. I ended up like 40k. So last year it was 40k, but that was my worst rank in 3 years' time. So I've been top 100k for the last 4 years at least. Every year that I've played the game seriously, which is for 5 years' time, apart from 1 year, I've been in the top 100k, and I made the top 10k once, top 50k 3 times in a row. All right, let's start looking at some players. Right, let's just remove this dog water auto pick team, including Rashford for 7 million, who's not even at Man United anymore. I don't know how much I dig this new layout, if I'm honest, but it's fine. Ooh, you can't see the players here on the left, actually. This is kind of annoying. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. Can't see the top 1% in the league? Me neither. I don't think they've activated it yet. Maybe it's similar that it only activates after game week 1. Rashford is going to be fired, top scorer of the game easily. True. Also, this is not correct at all. This needs to be... Nope. There we go, so it doesn't go outside of the box. Let's see, how are we going to do this setup, actually? Twitch chat, I'm going to say goodbye for you for now. I still see you over on this side, but you're not going to be on screen. Just because I need to try and figure out a way where you guys can see the entire... Nope, that's the entire layup. Alright, let's see. The problem is you guys might not even be able to see. It might be too small, right? Yeah, there's definitely... There has to be a better way of doing this. Huh. Okay. I'm just gonna... do this, and then we will let's see here. Doing everything live. It's perfect. What if I duplicate that? Run it over here. And just say goodbye to chat for a while, right? Can we do something like this and just, oops. Then we can see the prices on the right. That'd be kind of cool. Nah, it's way too small. Is there any way to make the font on this website larger? I'm dead. Okay, it's for some reason it wasn't entirely zoomed in. Yeah, no, this doesn't work. How is everyone else doing this? Okay, scrap that. Okay, I guess I just have to bring everything up when we're talking about it, I suppose. Yeah, this UI is not great for streaming, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I think we just have to... I'm just gonna say that you guys can't see the list, but you obviously can also have the game up and look at prices, right? So I have to, like, actually add them to the team for you guys to be able to see it. Let's make this slightly smaller. So you guys can see how much money we have left. Something like that is probably fine. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the new UI. I like the dark mode, I like the color. But other than that, it's pretty dog, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, let's start picking some players. Alright, surely... Let's start with... What is this? Huh? Sure. Midfielders. Let's just look at midfielders now. I mean, Salah is probably must-have. Especially with how he started last season. Okay, you can kind of see it when it popped up on left. Now I find rank history, you need to click in a league and then on your name. That's crazy. That's some spaghetti code if I ever see it. That makes no sense. Absolutely zero sense. But thank you so much, Nixie. I'll look it up. Okay, we can do this. Fixtures. Okay. I mean, the pop-up menu isn't awful, but I don't like change. I'll talk about all the changes in a bit. All right. Alright. Salah starting the year with Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, Burnley, Everton, Palace. I mean, if you buy Salah, it's a long-term hold. What is... I feel like you're picking either Salah or Haaland. Yeah. And Haaland is starting... I want to be able to just click on the fixtures, please. Without doing like 4 clicks. I mean, none of them have fantastic first fixtures, I'm going to be honest. It's not the best I've seen, but they're obviously good. I'm personally not going to fall for the... I'm not going to pick Florian Wirtz. And the reason for that is that I have a new philosophy in starting my FPL team. Because last year I fell for the Nkunku trap, and I don't want to fall for that again. So for that reason, I'm not gonna pick any non-proven new signing, even if they're like, I'm not gonna pick. I don't think I'm gonna pick Cunha, right? Vert cover Salah, yeah. That just doesn't work. Exactly. Everyone is gonna be saying, oh, Vert covers Salah, and maybe he will, you know. But I'm not going to start my game like that. I can always just downgrade Salah to Verts in, 6 games' time if it turns out that he actually does cover Salah. Alright, let's look at midfielders again. Yeah, so let's sort by price. I hate that I click over here and then it moves over here. I don't like that. I wish this was on the right side. But it's whatever. I'm not gonna nitpick. Okay, so now we have sorted by price. I can't sort by price descending. Salah's the most expensive. You have Palmer 10.5. I'm not gonna start with Palmer, even though he had a really good summer. And won the Club World Cup. Bukayo Saka for 10 million. I'm not super interested either. One I am interested in is actually Bruno. The reason being, one, I'm a delusional Man United supporter, but two, with the changes to ball recoveries, I think he could be really good. And I mean, he's the only really nailed player in that United side. Sure, he has Arsenal to start off, but then Fulham and Burnley. Bruno's a bit expensive. I think 9 million is reasonable for Bruno, especially with how many recoveries he makes. So I'm expecting him to rack up some points in that regard. Then you have Verts at 8.5. Marmoush 8.5 is now a midfielder. You have Son at 8.5, could be really good. That looks like good value. Buemo at 8 million for Man United. Probably not interested in it to start the season. You have Luis Diaz. You have Cunha at 8 million as well. A lot of 8 million midfielders. You have Eze at 7.5. Interesting. Gakpo at 7.5 is now a midfielder again. You have Gordon 7.5 again. I don't know how good wingers are going to be with this change to ball recoveries. I feel like attacking mids are more what you want, but I could be wrong. Gibbs White 7.5 as well. Then you have some Arsenal wingers. Madueke is 7, Martinelli 7, Trossard 7. I guess it's because we don't know who's gonna start. We then have Rodgers, only 7 million. I expected more, if I'm honest, but decent value. And then Elanga's also 7 million, but again, he's new at Newcastle, so I'm not gonna pick him until we know how he performs. Rice is up to 6.5. Makes sense with the changes to DMs. Rice could be good value, actually, because in terms of the Arsenal midfielders, like, what, apart from Saka, how do you actually get coverage for Arsenal? So I think Rice could actually be a good pick at 6.5 with the changes, and it's not like he's not showing up with goals from time to time. I'm actually not... Won't you pick any new signings? No. I did that last year, and that kind of screwed me early on. I'm not going to pick any new signing to start the season. I'm just going to pick proven players that I know what they're going to do in their teams. So yeah, that's just a philosophy of mine to start the season, because I can always transfer to a new player if they perform really, really well. But if I start with a player that performs badly, and then a player performs really well that I don't have in another position, that's almost 2 transfers, you know what I mean? Whereas if I start with someone like a Jared Bowen, I kind of know what I'm going to get with a Jared Bowen. So it's not like Bowen is going to be a must-sell. I don't want to start the season with any must-sell assets. I want to kind of be able to play the first 3 weeks without making a transfer, and then sort of assess the new situation. What would you prefer? Finish number 1 in top 1% mini league or top 100 OR? I think top 100 OR. But considering how good and how big the top 1% is, winning that one would probably mean I'm like top 1k or at least top 5k anyway. So I think actually number 1 in top 1% would be pretty cool. How many are in the top 1%? Is it 100k, yeah? Like the top 100k? So yeah, I should be in the top. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. Top 114k? Yeah, I was like 40k last year. But yeah, considering that there's so many good managers in the top 114k, surely if I win the top 1%, I'm like at least like top 2k in the world. I would be very surprised if I wasn't. So I'd rather take that. You know, you're essentially asking, would you take top 100 or like top 1.5 thousand and win the top 1%? And like, you know, maybe it's even 3 digits. The goal would be to reach three digits at one point in my FPL career. 114 is with the nerds. Yeah, I'm not gonna do too well there. I mean, didn't you do really well last season? Yeah, you got 10k. I mean, if you got top 10k in with how popular, almost at F1 Fantasy, with how popular FPL is, you're a nerd. So yeah, sorry to break it to you, but you're a part of the nerds. All right, I think Rice could be good for the price. That rhymes, not on purpose. What else do we have here? Matoma at 6.5, okay. And so at 6.5 is Caicedo? No, 6.5. Interesting, Caicedo's not 6.5. I feel like that could be a really good starting pick, no? What is he, 6 mil? And Kunku is 6 mil. Caicedo 5.5. I mean, considering I'm not seeing too many cheap midfielders jumping out at me. Anderson is also 5.5, I suppose. He benefited a lot. He was one of the top 10 benefiters of the ball recoveries thing. Very interesting. Yeah, I don't see too many cheap midfielders that I'm interested in, especially not in like the 5 mil category. You can't see them, but it's not much to look at, if I'm honest. I think Salah is probably a lock to start the season. I actually need to familiarize. I need to learn the fixtures. I haven't really looked too much at the fixtures to start the season. Here we go. Oh, perfect. You guys can't see anything. This website's awful. All right, let me duplicate this. And do something like this. Alright. Yeah, we'll do something like that. That's fine, I suppose. Alright, let's look a bit at the fixtures. Arsenal, Aston Villa. Oh yeah, you can sort by game weeks. You can't really. I mean, I guess you just gotta look in general. West Ham do have a pretty good start. Sunderland, Chelsea, Forest away, Chelsea. I feel like there's not really a team that stands out having an insane start to the season. Leafy is a good pick from Sunderland at 5 million, but as I say, first years I have no idea scoring rules yet. I'll keep it in mind. I'm mainly initially I'm looking for 90-minute men, right? Players who start and play all minutes are always really, really good. I don't want any impact subs. Previously, like, defensive midfielders were awful, but with the changes to the rules, they could actually be good. I feel like bench boosting game week 1, because last season I didn't have a good bench first half of the season. That could also be a way to play it. I think bench boost game week 1 will be quite popular, though I don't see too many like fixtures I would really want to target. Spurs start with Burnley at home, but it's Spurs, you know. And then game week 2 is like Burnley and Sunderland play each other, right? It's newly promoted against each other. Yeah, no offense to Sunderland, but I'm gonna look at who they play, right? The thing is, like, look at Sunderland's fixture run. If this was a fixture run of any other team, I would want their players. But I guess it's like a bench option. If, as you say, Anthony, like Leafy is someone who starts and plays every game. Maybe. No, probably not a starter, but, you know, have him on the bench. Bench boost game week 1, and then just have him as an option, considering the first, like, what, 7 weeks look pretty strong. Can you identify a good bench boost game week apart from game week 1, Rain, please? I would say it's probably after... It would be after you wildcard. Your first wildcard. So your first wildcard is usually best used between something like game week 6 to 12. And a lot of people like to use them right after an international break. So when do we have the international breaks here? First one is here already, but that's too early, game week 4. The second one is here after game week 7. So I think wildcard game week 8 is going to be really popular. So I would imagine that game week 9 would be a good opportunity to bench boost. You could also like dead end it. And what dead ending means is that you use your transfers to build a team that you then wildcard out of because you don't want it anymore. So I suppose you could also try and like wildcard game week 7 and then bench boost game week 7 and then basically use all your transfers to build a good bench boost team and then wildcard out of that team in game week 8 since you're going to use the wildcard game week 8 anyway. Let's see. So I think first wildcard is going to be popular game week 8 or game week 12. So I would imagine that if you don't bench boost game week 1, it should be somewhere around your wildcard. So game week 7, 9, 11, or 13, I would imagine. And again, the strategy would be either to dead end it and then wildcard, or wildcard and then the next week you have a good team for the bench boost, right? In terms of which of those 4, I don't know. I don't know the fixtures that well just yet, and I also don't know which picks are good, so I couldn't tell you. But if you're not gonna do it game week 1, I would look to do it around your wildcard. So again, 7, 9, 11, or 13, because the best early wildcard weeks are probably going to be 8 and 12. I do think there's a lot of merit to wildcarding earlier this year, because if you remember, there's that change where my least favorite change of the year. There's that change where you get 6 or 5. You get maxed out transfers before AFCON, which is in game week 16. So for game weeks, it is game week 16, right? That's for AFCON. Whenever AFCON is, it's around the midway point of the season. Maybe it's game week 18. It's midway point of the season at least. So because the wild card, or you essentially get like a mini wild card when AFCON starts, I think wildcarding earlier this year is going to be better. There's no reason to hold on it that long because like you're essentially getting half a wildcard around the midway point of the season anyway. So I kind of like that. So I would imagine, at least in my head, my plan is going to be to wildcard game week 8 after the international break, which means that if I don't use my bench boost, it's going to be if I don't use my bench boost game week 1, it's going to be either game week 7 or game week 9. So again, I don't know which one because I don't know the fixtures and I don't know which players are good, which players you can afford on the bench boost, stuff like that. But that's probably my initial plan for bench boosting for the first half of the season. Let's go back and looking at game week 1, game week 2, like the early run. Brentford is kind of an unknown. Their team has been absolutely demolished, especially if Wissa leaves as well. That looks terrible for them. West Ham, I know Bowen is a forward now, which is crazy. they have like a kind of mid start, right? Sunderland first game was obviously good. Then Chelsea at home could get a result. Nottingham Forest away is always difficult. Tottenham at home, another London derby. Then Palace at home, another London derby. So there's 3 London derbies here, which, I mean, things can happen there. So I feel like starting with Bowen is kind of a safe bet. Obviously, he's a forward now, so it's less ideal. But I feel like Bowen is kind of someone you're just happy to have for the first 6 weeks, and then if you want, you can remove him for someone else. Like, he's a safe option. You kind of know what you'll get. He won't go nuclear or anything like that, but he'll definitely tick along, you would imagine. Nottingham Forest also look pretty good. Brentford at home. Again, Brentford have been kind of demolished. Nottingham Forest look good as a team. Palace away. Then West Ham at home. Arsenal away is obviously difficult in game week 4. But then Burnley and Sunderland. So, at least for the first 6 weeks, Forest look pretty good. Out of the top teams, I guess it's Chelsea, Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, United, Brighton. What's Liverpool's run is not great. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal is not a good start. Then it gets easier, but like around the time you want a wild card, they have Palace away, Chelsea away, United at home. What's City's run then? Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, United, Arsenal, Burnley. I mean, the Arsenal game is obviously difficult, but like Wolves at home, Wolves away, Tottenham at home, Brighton, United, and then Arsenal have Liverpool away and City at home, and United away. The fixtures are really difficult actually to pick a clear favorite, I suppose. Alright, let's go back to the team. Remove this god-awful pre-made team. I mean, Salah is just way too good. So I think we definitely start with Salah. Then in terms of midfielders, I mean, you want to get City coverage, but I don't really know how you do that. Okay, we've looked too much at midfielders. I'm kind of stuck on midfielders, if I'm honest. In terms of forwards, again, I don't hate Bowen. Isak at 10.5 is very expensive. I don't think I want that. What's Newcastle's fixture? Fixtures: Villa, Liverpool, Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Forest. Like, no one has just a clean run of fixtures. Apart from maybe Bowen, right? So Bowen is at 8 million. Starting with Sunderland, Chelsea, Forest is obviously difficult. Spurs, Palace, Everton. What else do we have? Wissa was obviously good last year, but I'm not too confident in Brentford. Is Bowen on pens? Should be. I'd be very surprised if he's not. Oh, you can't see the thing. Let's go back to this. What other forwards am I interested in? Okay, if Arsenal sign Gyökeres, which is probably likely, right? What will he cost? Because that's probably an exception I can make to the new signing rule. All right. How do I ban you? Sorry, I had some Twitch bots drop in. Classics. Can we realistically go for Salah and Haaland draft? I don't think so. I don't think that's realistic at all. I have not seen any like standout cheap options. Probably 9.5 and 9 million Gyökeres. I could see them slapping a 10 million price tag on him. Why the kits this season so mid and some ugly? Because they're placeholders. It says right here, some kit designs up mere placeholders. All home shirts will be faithfully reproduced here once kits are launched. So most of the home kits have leaked, but they haven't officially launched yet. So that's why like Liverpool just have a base red shirt. But that's gonna change when the game updates. So only a few teams have their full home shirts. Juve and Bayern home kits are disaster class. I have not seen them, but I'll take your word for it. But yeah, realistically for Salah and Haaland draft, I don't think so. I have not seen enough cheap options that stand out to me as valid picks, apart from maybe like a Caicedo. Udogie and Konsa 4.5 seem cheap. I haven't actually looked at defenders at all, so I don't know any defender prices yet. So I would imagine, yeah, I mean Konsa for 4.5 seems like an absolute bargain, right? Especially with Villa's decent start to the season. Villa's start is actually not bad. They don't face any of the traditional top 6. Obviously, you know, United and Tottenham aren't anymore, but Newcastle at home first game is obviously difficult, but then Brentford away, dismantled team. Crystal Palace at home is always decent. Everton away, Sunderland away, Fulham at home. Maybe it's in a... But Aston Villa haven't made any moves in the transfer market either, so I don't really know what to make of them, if I'm honest. Palace always seems to start slowly. Yes, I agree. Though I wouldn't mind Mateta, but obviously, like, their initial games are not great. I'd be down to switch to Mateta in like game week 4. Alright, let's put Watkins Bowen in here for now. Leave the final. I did say Forest looked decent. Obviously, Chris Wood kind of overperformed their last season, but let's start with this lineup for now. I missed the days Bamford was so clutch. Oh, yeah. Will Leeds be a dark horse again? I don't think so. A lot of talk about bench boost game week 1. What are your thoughts on that? If you're on the YouTube side, you can scroll back like 10 minutes. I talked a lot about it. I think it's going to be strong. But I think the option to use bench boost on your first bench boost is either game week 1 or adjacent to your wild card. Either to deaden your team into your first wild card, probably game week 8. So you use your bench boost game week 7 or game week 9. So I think your first bench boost should probably be used, assuming that you wildcard game week 8. I think you try and use your bench boost before or after that. All right, let's check some keepers. Yeah, I haven't seen any keeper prices apart from Pickford, and he's not someone I'm interested in. I am very interested in the Forest keepers. Whatever they cost. Let's just go to Forests. Cells is only 5 million. That seems pretty good. Would you make regular game week videos by any chance? It's possible. It's possible. Kinski might be the start for Spurs at 4. Frank said he hasn't decided who will be number 1 between Kinski and Vicario. That's good information. Thank you, Nixie. Let's put him in for now though as a 4 million placeholder. Where is he? It's so annoying when they're all the same. There you go. Kinski. The same green kit. Keller at 4.5 will be popular. I'd imagine so, yes. That would make a lot of sense. I do think Celso is really good to start with. You know where you kind of get with him, and Forest's initial fixtures are pretty good, right? Like Brentford, Palace, West Ham, Burnley, Sunderland in the first 6. Obviously Arsenal is annoying, but let's do this for now. Let's check defenders. I haven't checked defenders at all so far. So I've just heard. Let's check by team selected by. What are people picking? 8 Nuri 32.6 is off my list because he's a new signing. I'm not going to pick a new signing. No one above 6 million, but a lot of options at 6. You have Robertson, Van Dijk, Saliba, Gvardiol, Kirkis, Frimpong. Yeah, so all the Liverpool options are 6 million. It's probably very difficult to pick one there. I'm not going to pick Frimpong or Kirkis because they're new. Definitely not Robertson. So, for me, if I'm picking Liverpool, it's probably just Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, no defender above 6 is interesting. Saliba and Gabriel both at 6 million makes sense. Kukurea at 6 is an avoid for me. And then 8 Nuri, again, new signing. So I'd rather pick Guardiol. Munoz 5.5 is pretty disgusting, but I understand it. I wouldn't mind a West Ham player. Wan-Bissaka, 4.5 million. Tackles made. Interceptions. Could be good. I think Konsa at 4.5 with Villa's opening fixture is just really, really good. If I had to pick one, let's just pick one. I have no idea what my budget is going to end up being after all of this. So let's pick one premium defender to start with. I feel like having one premium defender is at least good because then you have a team that you can build around. And if, say, I don't know, Van Dijk gets it rolling really well, or whatever, you can, or say Kirkis looks insane, or Aid Nuri looks insane, I can always switch to them. So I feel like I should have at least one 6 million defender, just so that I have options to switch to it. Which one though? Let's just put Van Dijk in there for now. Yeah, let's follow the popular picks for a bit. Konsa, Wan-Bissaka. Ola Eines at 5 million looks pretty good. Unless I want a Forest player in. Yeah, actually, maybe I want to slap a 4.5 here. Okay, all this clicking is kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Let's slap Kelleher in there. 4.5 million looks really good for him. And I don't like expensive goalkeepers in general, because that means I can pick up. I can pick up Ola Aina here. I mean, Milenkovic would have been the highest scoring defender last year, but Milenkovic is 5.5, sure. And that means I also have enough for I have space for a Forest player in midfield. Gay at 4.5, probably not. João Pedro being picked by 50% is mad. What? Is he? That's actually criminal. Anthony Robertson is only 5 million. That seems kind of a bargain when like Milenkovic is 5.5, Munoz is 5.5, Tarkovsky is 5.5. Though obviously initial fixtures aren't fantastic. I need to have a 4 million defender. I can't have all the big picks. Let's check at 4 million. If okay, I'm gonna build a team that is not using the bench boost chip in game week 1, which means I should not pick a 4 million defender that is popular. Alex Moreno is popular from Villa at 4 million, selected by 5.4%. But I should probably pick someone else. Ideally, someone who starts. I wouldn't know who that would be. I mean, I'll just pick Ekdal for now because he's my Swedish goat. But this could be any 4 million defender. So I'll just slap Ekdal in there for now. And then we will pick the mids. We have 28 million in the bank. How crazy can we go here? How crazy. I mean, Kudus looked really good in that training match they had, but again, he's a new transfer, so I'm not going to go for him. Obviously interested by Cunha from United, but I think I want to probably He's not very highly owned, only owned by 8.1%. I'm probably gonna select Fernandes in here. And then I did really like the look of Caicedo at 5.5. And Declan Rice at 6.5. That leaves me 7 million in the bank. What can I get for 7 million? Rodgers, Elanga, Kluivert. That's my price. Madueke, Martinelli, Trossard. I'm not picking any of them. I'd rather pick Rice. Rodgers is at 7 million. Not bad considering Villa's early fixtures. You have Kluivert and Semenyo. What are Bournemouth's early fixtures actually? Liverpool away first game is obviously tragic, but I can bench them. And after that, it's actually not bad. Kudus is kind of... Yeah, Kudus could probably be a really good pick. And he looked really, really good in Spurs' first game. It's Hjalmar Ekdal. It's not Albin Ekdal, yeah. So, if you go into it, I mean, looking at this now, like, you could definitely start and, like, bench Semenyo first game. Yeah. Again, this is not a team that is going to bench boost game week 1. So with that, you could start like Semenyo or Kluivert. I mean, it's probably Kluivert, if I'm honest. Because again, after that Liverpool fixture, it's Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham. And like Spurs, anything could happen. Brighton is at home, Newcastle is at home, Leeds is away, Fulham at home. And then you wildcard here. So I don't hate Bournemouth players here. Savinho is at 7, Elanga 7 million, Brennan Johnson, Madison 7 million. Some decent picks at 7. Alright. How honest to God, how dog shit is this team? This is just me picking on initial instinct. Again, I don't know how worth it Rice and Caicedo are going to be with the new changes. But for the price, I feel like they're kind of steals, especially like for like Rice at Arsenal for 6.5. Because with Madueke, Martinelli, and Trossard, you don't know who's going to start. Havertz is a forward, and you don't want him. Bukayo Saka is 10 million, so you can't really fit him. I honestly have no idea what's good at the moment. I think it feels very difficult to pick a very overall well-rounded team. But the thing is, like, would I be happy sticking with this team for, 3 game weeks? Probably, yeah. I mean, I know exactly what I'm getting with all these, apart from Kelleher. But again, Kelleher is a goalkeeper, so it's a bit different there. Salah is a lock and that's it. Yep. Obviously, I have no City coverage. But I'm actually not too worried about not having City coverage. And I can always switch Van Dijk to a, 8 Nuri or Guardiola. Pep Roulette always screws us over. Exactly. Celtic! Hi, how you doing, man? I mean, this, yeah. Alright, I'll make this for now because it's definitely better than what I had before, and then we can sort of work our way from there. Let's do this and this. So this would probably be the team, yeah. captain, and then I don't know how much I like Watkins here, if I'm honest. I just like Villa's start to the season in terms of fixtures. I'm good. It's super hot in Sweden, so I'm sweating way too much to be comfortable, but yeah, it's going well. Oh. If Watkins took pen, I'd like them a lot more. Who's on pens then? Buendia? Any plans on having a fun Haaland and Salah draft and see how it looks? I'll definitely tinker with it for sure. I just don't think it's what I'll end up running, because it feels like I have to take too many risks with cheap players, and it's difficult to move out of it if it backfires. Tielemans now, you suppose? Yeah, that would make sense. I don't know, maybe Watkins steps up this year. Maybe. Emery said an order in a press conference. I can't remember. I mean, again, this is probably what the team would be if I ran this, right? And then Kluivert, again, I don't mind benching. Again, this is not a bench boost team. I would have to look way closer to build a good bench boost team if I'm starting with that in game week 1. But I do like having Bournemouth coverage on the bench, just because of after the Liverpool game, it actually looks pretty good, like the fixtures. And the goal here is to save up transfers, for sure. That's kind of why I'm picking, like, you know, a Milenkovic, Declan Rice. I'm hoping they just get the defensive contribution points and just tick along with a 4-pointer. Like, I'd be super happy with that. They don't even need to pop up with any attacking returns. I just want a team that ticks along for the first couple of weeks, keeps me in relative good contention, and then I can start attacking the overperformers from that position. I want to be in a position where I don't have to sell anyone. You know, I want to look at my team and say this person isn't I don't want to have someone who's like a must sell early. Do you think there's a benefit of going more safe despite the changes we've had, double chips and AFCON transfers? I am doing it this year because I haven't done it before, and I want to see how this approach works for me at the start of the season. It's a different approach to what I normally have done. And I really regret... I mean, the last 3 seasons, I've had 1 or 2 players that after 2 weeks are must-sells. And that has forced me into being unflexible, and then I've not been able to jump on trends of players fast enough. So I've fallen behind early. With a well-rounded team where you have players at every price point that you can jump to, say 8 Nuri, for example, gets off the ground running, I have Van Dijk, and I could just go to 8 Nuri with 1 transfer. So I do think there's some merit to playing safe. As you can see, the only new transfer I have, or new recruit, whatever, is Kelleher. But he's obviously a goalkeeper, so it's a bit different. Yeah, I had Barco and Nkunku. I did not go on the Kwanzaa train, luckily, but I had 2 of them, and I mean, you had to sell them immediately because they were so popular that they just started dropping in price. And early price drops in this game are really, really bad. I don't think budget is super important later on, you know, as important as it is in F1 Fantasy, but early on, it's definitely very, very impactful. First couple of weeks, you don't want to be forced to sell someone because everyone else is selling them. So... Yeah, 4 million keeper, 4 million defender on the bench, Bournemouth midfielder on the bench after because their fixtures after the Liverpool fixture looks good. And then you know, I could definitely switch in Konsa for anyone here. I know exactly what I'm getting with Salah, Bruno, Wood, Bowen. I'm not a super fan of Watkins at 9 million, if I'm honest. I could definitely see myself downgrading Watkins to something else. Rock someone else in midfield. Though I do want to have Villa coverage because Villa's early fixtures are just decent, right? I mean, I could definitely see myself, especially like Tottenham away in 8. This is where I would likely wild card. Like, this run of fixtures is just way too good to ignore. I'd be kind of down to just run triple Villa during this run. Oh, I'm so sorry. Decent start. Looks pretty good, man. All right, let's look at some more. Let's tinker some bit. Let's tinker a bit. With some options here. So again, if Watkins is not someone we want, who would it be instead? Again, let's check the team selected by. Alright, João Pedro, 7.5 million, owned by 47% of people, seems absolutely mental. If I can be for real. Beto is 5.5, owned by 8.9%. Strand Larsen is 6.5. Ugh. I mean, none of the cheap forwards look that good, if I'm honest. There's no one really from Villa either. It's literally just Watkins. If United can get the goal scoring problem solved, I like the look of Dorgo for 4.5. Dorgo for 4.5 actually looks pretty good. I could definitely see myself running that later on. I just don't want to load up on United players until we know kind of what team they're going to be, right? Are they going to finish 15th or are they going to finish 8th? Or can they push for a European spot? I think just rocking with Bruno to start the season is very reasonable. Because with this, you run him, obviously you run him against Arsenal, not expecting much. Then you have Fulham and then you have Burnley at home. And if he has not performed, or like, not even him, but if United have been awful, he's a super easy sell to anyone in Game Week 4. Before City, Chelsea, Brentford, Sunderland, and then obviously Liverpool is the... So Bruno's a very easy sell if United start poorly. The lap at 6.5 for Chelsea. If Nicholas Jackson is out of favor and gets sold, will the lap be first choice, playing every game? Chelsea's so difficult. They have so many players. It's really difficult to call. Yeah, Chelsea just have decent starting fixtures, yeah. First 6, you can sell him for 7, and then wildcard in 8. I see why João Pedro is popular. I see why João Pedro is popular. But again, it's new transfers, and I don't want that. I don't want that. Yes, really nothing else that stands out. The forward pool is just quite weak. Quite weak. Fraser! Good day, sir. Is this fantasy worth playing? Seems very intimidating. It is pretty intimidating at first. There's a lot more options than F1 Fantasy. But it's fun. Especially if you enjoy the Premier League. I think it's a no-brainer to play it. But yeah, they've definitely added some crazy stuff for this season. So a lot of changes. Yeah, it's probably Watkins, right? Have I missed any like obvious midfielder picks? That's not Verts. Rodgers for 7 million. If I'm not running Watkins, I'm probably running Rodgers. I'm not picking Embuemo or Cunha. I'm not picking Marmouche. I have no City player, which obviously sucks. Is there a beginner's video guide you have or recommend? I have not made one, but I'm sure there are good videos on YouTube. I haven't watched any beginner's guide video on this game in like 5 years, so if you want that, I can definitely consider making one for the launch of the game. Yeah, not having Haaland is rough. I agree, but you kind of have to pick. All right, let's try making a Haaland draft, a Haaland and Salah draft. Because that could also, if you can find a safe way to build that could also be a very safe way to start. Because at least you have Haaland and Salah, and then, you know, if one of them is not performing, you just sell. So I need to clear up 5 million here. I mean, the easy thing is probably just to remove Fernandes and select probably Rodgers here. Need another 3 million cleared somehow. Again, I really like this initial. Maybe Bowman is the one to go. I like the first game against Sunderland, but that's the thing. I feel like if you're running Haaland plus Salah, you kind of have to pick someone like a João Pedro for 7.5, and then you're running the risk. And again, you're having 2 players at 7.5 in the forward line, meaning you can't go up in price to someone like a Bowen, to someone like a Watkins if they were to hit the ground running, right? So I'm not sure I'm that big of a fan of that. And I really want at least 1.6. I definitely want 1.6 million defender, so I can switch that to a different one if someone like an 8 Nuri starts off well. 2.5 million. I mean, you probably just have to pick like a 4.5 million midfielder, but that doesn't seem very fun. That doesn't seem very fun. I just don't see a way to do this. What if you just pick a 4.5? A 4.5 million forward, and then work from there. So you have a guaranteed bench here and a guaranteed bench here, and work from that. So that gives you 0.5 in the bank. Definitely make a beginner guide, please. Okay. I'll try and get that out. Play 3-4-3 maybe. I'm thinking more like you play 3-5-2 and just slap a 4.5, because again the forwards don't really excite me. So maybe you do something like I actually want to check Nottingham Forest here. Price. Yeah, Gibbs White is 7.5. Yeah. Kind of annoying. Cheap goalkeeper is a good idea. In general, I would say yes. I don't think it's worth splashing too much on a goalkeeper. So you can only play one goalkeeper, the other one is on the bench. I would say if you're not... The only reason you should start with 2 playing goalkeepers, aka not like a 4 million backup, right, is if you're using bench boost week 1. So I'm gonna pick Keller and Kinski. Kinski could be first choice for Spurs. We don't know yet. So he's just a placeholder. This could be any 4 million. But if I'm not using bench boost first week, I'm gonna pick a 4.5 and a 4 million for sure. Gives wide transfer speculation as well. True. Maybe it's just Anderson then. That gives me 1.5 million in the bank to upgrade something. Like that definitely brings options to the table. Definitely video bench boost, lol. Yeah, so let's just screenshot this so we remember this. I mean, yeah, I could end the stream this afternoon and just start working on a beginner's guide video. I think. Actually, no, I can't because I have D&D tonight. I could do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm playing D&D tonight, so I need to prep for that. Actually, I couldn't. It's my sister's birthday tomorrow. When do I have time? I need to make F1 fantasy content as well. Time running out. I'll make a beginner's guide video for sure. If I plan on making content for F1 fantasy this year, or the F1 fantasy for FPL this year, I'm going to mess that up like 1,000 times. I'm definitely making a video, right? There's no reason not to. Don't need to explain anything right now, not what others are here for. That's fine. But I'm still going to reset to what we had before and go to pick team. Because right now, this is sort of what I'm looking at. If I'm not running a Salah plus Haaland team, I just don't see Salah plus Haaland working right now. Maybe once like a, you know, some super cheap options arise that we haven't considered beforehand. Maybe. Will you make FPL content this season? I want to, but obviously it's very much in the essence of time I have available to me. But I really want to. How many drafts will we do before game week 1? Probably a good solid 250 or so. If I'm honest. It's good there's a long way until the season starts. I say as it's like less than a month away. And it did launch late this year as well. Yeah, I know. Dude, imagine if if the FPL fan base got to, you know, listen to, had the same. Imagine if the FPL fan base had the same experience as the F1 fantasy fan base had. Game launching the Tuesday before the deadline. When it's locked in for FPL, it is Friday, August 15th. Friday, August 15th. So it's a bit away. You couldn't take that. The FPL community definitely could not take that. All right, initial thoughts. It's like something like this. I'm not sure I want to run Rice and Caicedo, but I do think Caicedo for 5.5 is pretty decent. I'm definitely interested in it. Transfer window always makes it 10 times harder as Watkins linked to United and supposedly not happy at Villa. That Liverpool may sign another attacker, so I'm always making changes. I mean, yeah, 100%. To be honest, needed could the F1 community definitely hard the player base? Yeah, 100% true. They take it for granted the people who run F1 Fantasy are the Ferrari of the fantasy games. One guy in a shed. Interesting, yeah, no very cheap striker or mid, most have one of them. Yeah. My cheap midfielder is Caicedo. And Caicedo would probably be the one who's benched in favor of Kluivert. But that's so I guess if I upgrade like Ekdal here, I suppose I have kind of in bench boost territory. But like, if I'm looking at upgrades, say that instead of picking Caicedo, I pick a 4.5 million midfielder. The problem then is that I would have to play Kluivert. I guess I could play a 4-4-2 first week and bench Kluivert still. So let's just select the 4.5 here and plan it out. Or 4-4-2, I mean 4-3-3 it would be. Yeah, 4-3-3, not 4-4-2. So let's just team selected by, pick someone who's not picked by a lot of people. Just, I don't know, slap in a little Wolves player here. I like the Wolves players because they're not highly owned and it's very obvious to see like the yellow shirts. Yeah, Kluivert has pen, so he can return at any game. That's true. So say we do this, what could we then upgrade now? We have 1-2 guaranteed bench. We want to bench Kluivert as well. So we would start Konsa, Van Dijk, Milenkovic, Van Bissaka. We get 1 million in the bank to play with. We couldn't go to Palmer. So it would still have to be Bruno here. It would probably be Rice upgrade, right? And then it's a 7.5. What, like SA? It's not a fantastic price category, I'm gonna be honest. It's SA, Gakpo, Gordon. What is... Okay, Villa, Liverpool, Leeds, Wolves. It's not fantastic. I'm not super excited to start with Newcastle players. FPL you at work now, we'll have to check it out later. Please feel free to do so, Chris. Thank you for dropping in at least. I guess it's like you go triple Villa, you go Rodgers here, and then you can upgrade something else. Maybe Ekdal to another 4.5. Or save 0.5 in the bank. But like here you're running 2 Liverpool players and 1 United player, and then you have nothing else from the, you know, City, Chelsea. Okay, I'm gonna upheave this entire thing. Let's start over. With the focus of trying to get as many of the top 4 teams as possible in here. Yeah, I have no Arsenal coverage in this. I actually really like Declan Rice to start the season. He's always playing 90 minutes. He's gonna really benefit from the defensive contributions, and he can definitely pop up with a goal here and there. And I feel like not having any Arsenal coverage to start the season feels absolutely ridiculous. Alright, yeah, okay, let's actually try and get some of the top 4 in here. We'll do Caicedo again, because I do think out of the Chelsea mids, he's not bad. Because again, it's Palmer, and then it's like a bunch of Chelsea forwards that I don't know who's going to play, and I'm not willing to start with that. By the way, if you haven't, make sure to like the stream. We only have 7 likes on the stream, so there's a lot of you in here. Definitely make sure to like the stream if you just popped in, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. Caicedo at 5.5 is probably like my Chelsea option of choice. You know, my Chelsea player of choice. Let's put Van Dijk in here, and then instead of Milenkovic, let's get Gvardiol. This could obviously be Aït-Nouri as well. Then we get some City coverage. Now at this point, there's no real like other Arsenal player that you can afford. No Liverpool player. No real Chelsea player either. What are the Chelsea center backs priced at? $5 million or below. But obviously we don't know who's gonna start. Is it Colwill? Difficult to call. Okay, instead of Milenkovic then, who's quite expensive. Let's go pretty big at the back to start this. I do want Chris Wood. I do want Kluivert. Instead of Bruno, let's pick Anderson at 5.5. We'll get Wan-Bissaka in there. And again, we're benching Kluivert again, so... And then... What did I have here? Guardiola. Let's have... Actually, with instead of Milenkovic... actually here, let's do Rodgers here for 7. Since we're not doing Watkins now. Let's do Milenkovic. And instead of Keller here, let's do... Cells. Let's do Kinski again. That's 8.5 million. That's actually... I mean, this is... Not doing Bruno actually kind of makes the team better, huh? And you can obviously, instead of Bowen, do Watkins here if you want to. Actually, could you do Haaland here? No, you couldn't. It's 14 million. Okay, let's actually look at Bournemouth. Because we have Evan Nilsson for 7 million. That's actually not a bad pick. Instead of Kluivert, we do Evan Nilsson. I don't know why I did that. Kukri at 6 feels expensive. Yes, I agree. Next one is try a Salad Hall dress for the fans. I tried it and I got it together. It was like something like this, right? I feel like you kind of have to commit to one 4.5 million forward or midfielder. Probably a forward, actually, because at least there are 5.5 million midfielders that you kind of want to pick. So this is probably my Salah Haaland draft. You run like Anderson, Caicedo, and then you know this. So you play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4. You either play a 3-5-2 or a 4-4-2. Like you could run like, you know, Van Dijk, Virgil, Milenkovic, Wan-Bissaka, and Konsa to start off. Okay, let's keep Kluivert because he's on pens. And then what if we just do Evan Nilsson here? There's 1.5 million in the bank to upgrade something. That's kind of good. I don't mind this. I don't mind this. Considering the money we have in the bank to upgrade something in addition to this. Though you have 2 Bournemouth players against... So you're committing to playing Kluivert against Liverpool. So maybe for 8.5 you want to get something else in here. But if you're on 8.5, you just... Like, you would rather stretch that to Watkins because there's nothing that costs 8.5. I guess you could do João Pedro at 7.5 and then upgrade Caicedo to something for 6.5. But again, now we're in territory of new signings, which I ideally want to avoid, especially if they have a blue shirt. Because we don't know who's playing. But yeah, double Forest's defense against a decent starting run of home fixtures. You know, you would imagine that they probably keep a clean sheet in at least 2 of these. Yeah. What are the 6.5s in midfield apart from Rice? You have Enzo, Ndai, Iwobi, Chiesa, and Soboslai. A bunch of City players. Like, if one of the City players turns out to not be Pepperlett's City, like, I don't know, Cherky ends up playing every game. For 6.5, that's kind of a steal, yeah. Murphy and Barnes, 6.5 as well. Kudos could be a good option at 6.5. It's a difficult price point. Very difficult price point. But again, I don't want to play with João Pedro. Alright, what if we ignore Caicedo completely and do a 4.5 here? That's going to be on the bench. Let's just... what's the Sunderland player? It's not a midfielder at least, or it's not 4.5. Okay, I'm just gonna slap a Wolves player in here just so I know that it's a placeholder 4.5. Yeah, let's just slap Hodge in here, and then at this price point you then have 9.5 to get Watkins in, and you keep 0.5 in the bank. Triple Villa to start with, obviously difficult, especially if Watkins leave Villa. But I do like the triple Forest to start. Either doing Chris Wood, Milenkovic, Sells, like double defense, or you could do like only one of these two, and then run like an Anderson in midfield. I definitely think I'm quite certain I will be running triple Forest to start the season. Just because of their fixtures. And I'm probably running at least double Villa. I think Konsa is a lock. I don't see myself not playing Konsa. I also think Wan-Bissaka is a pretty good starting option, especially against Sunderland. But this could be any 4.5. So, there are definitely options. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I like this more. This would be a 4-3-3 to start the season. Actually, let's not do that. Let's just screenshot this for now, because I don't remember what we did, what our previous team looked like. And just reset. Yeah, that was the team. I'm gonna screenshot because I'm gonna make a folder with all my drafts so that we can go back and look at it later. I do think that the non-Fernandes drafts are definitely easier to fit together. But I don't mind Fernandes. I don't mind Bruno as a pick at all. Bruno's definitely a pick, right? this was the team, yeah. I want to switch to that one for now. So let's remove you, and upgrade you. So we put Rogers and just a shitty 4.5. Here we put Cells. And here we put Guardiol. And then for 5 million, we just had, and I'm going to do a Wolves player again, just because they're so easy to spot, and I know which players are my always bench. Alright, let's do this for now. And then we do this, and obviously, actually, yeah, it's probably Konsa, yeah. Start a 4-3-3. Doesn't seem like the best plan. I mean, our defense is killer. So we start this way, and then we have Kluivert for the next weeks, and can bench something else. Something like that, yeah. Doesn't look half bad. Alright. I think that's going to be for now. I think this is my initial draft, but we have a few options. I don't mind the Bruno one with Caicedo in there. I think Rice is probably going to start in my team, actually, which is really fun. I think the only real locks going to transfers... I've been rambling about picks for a while now, but in terms of locks in my team, nothing in the back, like nothing in the goalkeeper position is a lock. I think Konsa is 100% a lock. I think Konsa is a lock. 6 million defender, whether that's Virgil or Gvardiol or whoever that is. I think 6 million defender will be in my team guaranteed. I think Salah is definitely my team. I do really, really like the prospect of starting with a Bournemouth midfielder, especially Kluivert, just because you can bench him in the first game, and then he's really good for the next couple of weeks up to the wild card in game week 8. And then in terms of the front line, I mean, it's probably Chris Wood, right? How long did your site take to load? It's still down for me. I had no issues getting online. I had no issues at all, but maybe it's lagging now that everyone's tinkering with their teams. In terms of the front line, really anything could happen here. I do like Chris Wood to start. I'm probably going to start with Chris Wood. I'm probably starting with triple Forest. It's just a question of is it Chris Wood, Anderson, and a defender, or is it double defense? And right now, Rice is probably going to start. Might be different for me because I'm in the US. It's possible JSV. I think these are like the only real, like, I mean, I'm not going to say Kluivert is a lock. Kluivert is definitely not a lock. I just really like the prospect of a Bournemouth player. Just because of how good their fixtures are after the Liverpool games. So you just bench them here and then play them up until the wild card in 8. In terms of Arsenal coverage, I'm only really seeing myself running with Rice, maybe one of the defenders, Saliba or Gabriel. Because in terms of the midfielders, I can't stretch enough budget to Saka, and I don't know who's playing out of the wingers, so Rice just seems like a no-brainer. Obviously, if Gyökeres signs for Arsenal, that's different, because maybe then I don't run Rice and I run Gyökeres for like 10 million or whatever he comes in instead of Watkins. If Watkins leaves or if Watkins is out of favor at Villa, I stretch the budget for a Gyökeres in the forward line. Alongside Salah, and then maybe I have to downgrade Rice to a 5.5. So Rice is not a lock, but like these are the assets that right now I'm like, okay, I like these. Why Rice? Were there rule changes? Yes. So you now get points for defensive contributions. So if you reach, if a midfielder reaches 12 defensive contributions in a game, that is 2 extra points. And also he can just pop up with a goal at some point, and he plays 90 minutes. So yeah, there are rule changes, which is why I'm also considering Caicedo in one of my drafts for Chelsea. This was kind of my first. This was my initial draft before I looked at it closer. But yeah, a lot can still happen, obviously. A lot can still happen. So for now, I'm gonna call it. I would love to make FPL videos throughout the entire year. Maybe that's not possible. I will do it in the essence of time that I have available to me. For now, though, this is gonna end this stream. I will post I'll probably try and make a beginner's guide type video for FPL, how to play. And then I'll make a Game Week 1 first draft video, probably next week. And then a Game Week 1 final team before the deadline in the middle of August. So all that will be on YouTube. If you're on Twitch right now watching, that will be on YouTube. So subscribe there if you haven't already. At least to the start of the season, I'm definitely interested in making some FPL content. Then whether I end up updating it every week, that's a different question. But for now, this has been fun. I really like FPL. It's my OG fantasy game, even though my channel is mainly focused on F1 fantasy in general. So thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna end the stream now, and I'll see you in the next one, whatever that is. Thank you.